All right, hello everyone, and hopefully you all have been having some luck this fall. Personally, I had some success on a couple of antelope hunts, and since those hunts, I've been getting a question and a phrase that I want to address. The question is antelope meat good? And the phrase is, I had antelope once and it was nasty. And so, first of all, I want to go on the record saying that I've had antelope multiple times, and it is one of the best meats, in my opinion. I've also had antelope that made my stomach want to curl. And what it always boils down to is the preparation. And I'm not talking about the preparation in the kitchen. You can put as much chili powder as you want on some rancid meat, and it's still going to taste bad. But rather, I am talking about the preparation after you harvest the animal. Ultimately, the hour from when you kill the animal, the first hour is the most important. That's going to impact the deliciousness of your meat. And really, the key to having good meat is having an after the kill plan. And so, how are you going to get that meat from where it's at to a cool place in the quickest amount of time? And that means that you need to know what gear to have. You need to have your knife ready. You need to have your game bag ready. You need to have your coolers and ice ready. I've also found it beneficial to have a contractor bag, maybe even some rope, anything that can help in the processing, getting that meat taken care of. But after you have a plan, just remember these three things. Number one, cool it off as soon as possible. In my opinion, gutting an antelope is not enough. You need to remove that hide as soon as possible. What I typically do out in the field is the gutless method. The reason for that is personally, I think it's easier to get it back to the truck than dragging it, unless you shoot it somewhere close to a road. Also, the final place it's going to rest is in cooler, so I need it quartered anyways, so it's just easier to do it out in the field. That contractor bag that I mentioned earlier is a great place to lay the quarters on the ground. Also, if you have a second one, while you're quartering it up, you can roll that antelope on top of it. Just always remember to make sure you're following the evidence of sex laws in the state that you're hunting. The second is keep it clean. I know I just said cool it off as soon as possible, but an extra 10 to 15 minutes skinning the animal is going to save you time when you're butchering it. And also your dinner guests are going to appreciate it. So try to minimize the amount of hair and meat you get on the animal. And then the final tip is keep it dry. And this is challenging, especially if you're using coolers, which I typically do if I'm camping or staying in a hotel. Obviously, coolers require ice. Ice melts. Water equals wetness. And so what I tend to do is, first of all, invest in a good cooler. I use an Arctic 65. I get some either 3 8-pound bags of ice or 1 20-pound bag of ice. I put it on the bottom, and then I lay the quarters on top of it. So I'm not completely surrounding the meat. I'm just kind of creating blocks of ice. That keeps the overall cooler cool and keeps my meat as dry as possible. Obviously, there's going to be some wetness where the ice contacts the meat, but if you take that contractor bag, put that in between there, you're going to minimize that. Keep the drain unscrewed so the water drains out. Make sure the bag doesn't clog that or any meat clogs that, and you're going to be in good shape. So if you've ever had a bad experience with antelope meat, I recommend you try it again. In my opinion, it's some of the best tasting meat ever. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more information, link to an article is in my bio.